Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we will be talking about the match that was played a couple of hours ago and Barcelona won 3-1 and the results are in. We have seen every player participate in this match. We have won 3-1. Koeman just finished his first game in charge, and so now we are here to talk about it because what did happen in this match is something that I believe we really do need to discuss, because a lot of things did come out that were positives and a lot of things did come out that were negatives. And so the way that I'm going to format this video is that I'm going to separate this into three parts. I'm going to talk about the first half and then the second half, and then in the end I will talk about the overall feeling of this whole match. And so we are first going to start with the first half, and as expected we surprisingly started with a 4-2-3-1. This is something that we have never thought we would have seen in this Barcelona squad, and so we already knew that Koeman was going to use two completely different starting 11s in each halves, and we did see exactly that. And so in the first half, when we did see the starting lineup, we're like, okay, so we're going to use around 90% of the starters that did play in the previous season. We saw the likes of Jordi Alba, Lenglet, Piqué, Sergio Roberto, Messi, Busquets, and Griezmann, which was okay because we all assumed that in the second half we're probably going to see all the youngsters take part. And to be very honest, I think that in the first half we did start extremely slow. Like every time we did get the ball and we tried to play from the back, it took such a long time to transition forward. And I think that in the midst of all of that, seeing how these players were playing extremely slow, every time Busquets did retain the ball, we were doing all of these side passes. By the time we did get into the opposition's box, I think that there was one player that really did change the tempo of the game. One of them was Dembele. Yes, of course, we know how he plays, but the other player that I do want to talk about is PEDRI. This young man here changed the way Barcelona moved forward. To see how PEDRI was so lethal and progressive going forward, it was something that we really had to examine and say, this guy here, he knows how to play football. This guy has the talent. And so I just love the way that he picked his passes, the way that he moved forward. We can see that he was very creative on choosing his passes, whether it was to Dembele, Messi, or Antoine Griezmann. So it was a great display from PEDRI. And like I previously mentioned, Dembele, we saw him again trying to become that lethal winger that we all love to see. And funny enough, we did see Dembele and Griezmann score within this first half. And here's the thing, right? I think that by the end of this first half, I do expect Koeman to stick to his word, which is to drop Busquets' role, because the way that I did see Busquets perform in this first half with Barcelona was not okay. Is he still world class? Can we still count on this player to keep hold of possession? Yes, but I think that if we want to become that Barcelona that can go forward aggressively, a Barcelona that can transition into the attack extremely quick, Busquets' role has to be decreased. He has to be placed on the bench. I do not like what Busquets has to offer anymore, and it's okay, right? Every player has their time. Every player has their little time frame where they do show their best, and unfortunately for Busquets, that time has ended. And as for Antoine Griezmann, I think that with Griezmann playing that number 9 role on top of Messi, PEDRI, and Dembele, I think that he was still confused on where he should be positioned at, which is okay, right? Because Griezmann is not well known to be playing as the number 9. He is usually that striker where he does play next to the number 9, not as a number 9. So I get why Griezmann did seem a little confused on his role in this match. But look, as expected, seeing that every player, seeing the players that did participate in the first half, players like Jordi Alba, Piqué, Sergio Roberto, Busquets, I think that that is the reason why we started off so sluggish and so slow. But the clear winner coming from this first half was PEDRI. PEDRI is a player for the future. This is a player that is showing a lot of promise, and so I'm happy with what he brought to the field today. Moving on to the second half, and this is where I do want to spend most of the time on, because what I believe happened in the second half gave us so many answers. And as expected, we did see a completely different starting 11. And not only that, but a younger starting 11. And I think that overall in the second half, we have improved. And I want to talk about three players that really did stood out within this second half, and that was Konrad de la Fuente, Francisco Trincao, and Riqui Puig. I believe that these three players here really did change the image of what Barcelona could look like in a few years. Because if we compare the first half and the second half performance, you can see and feel the difference from those two performances. You can see that in the second half, they created much more chances. They looked like they had a purpose going forward, like they actually knew what to do and how they want to do it. And to basically sum it up, we are comparing the youngsters who want a position in the 11 with the regulars, and that should tell us so much already. It should tell us on how we should move going forward. I think that it is time. It is time for the regulars who did play in the previous season to take that step down and make way for the new generation to come. And so let's stay on Trincao, Konrad de la Fuente, and Riqui Puig just for a second, right? Because with Trincao, I think that he did bring a much more progressive play. I love the way that he likes to cut in and look for that pass and pick those passes to either Konrad de la Fuente or Martin Braithwaite. I loved what he brought. One of the greatest examples that we did see in this match from Trincao was that link up between Trincao and Konrad de la Fuente. If you guys have not seen that play, that is exactly what we have been wanting to see from Trincao since the day that he signed with FC Barcelona. The way that he chipped that pass to Konrad de la Fuente. Do you understand how much accuracy and the vision that you need to bring in order to make that happen? And Trincao did exactly that. And just overall, his composure on the ball is excellent for someone who's only 20 years old. And then moving on to Konrad de la Fuente, which was part of Trincao's play. Konrad de la Fuente did play extremely well. The way that he did finish that play and scored that goal, unfortunately it was offsides, but the way that he did score that goal already tells us so much. This was a winger that was assigned to score, and he tried to do exactly that. Again, unfortunately he did not score, but Konrad de la Fuente does look like he knows what he needs to do. And the way that he did link up with players like Trincao, who did not even know each other 2 weeks ago, already tells us so much of what this Barcelona team could become. And then moving on to Riqui Puig. We already know how Riqui Puig likes to play. We have seen him throughout this whole year, the way that he likes to retain the ball and bring that ball and bring it to the opposition's box as soon as possible. It is something that Barcelona really did need in the past 2 or 3 years. And what's great about all of this is that Riqui Puig knows his ability. He knows his strengths. He knows what to bring out and how to use it. And that is to be creative around the box. Again, we have been wanting to see these type of players who are creative at this level since the day Iniesta and Xavi and many other players did leave FC Barcelona. And I think that that is why in the second half we looked much better. We created so many more chances, and that is because these young players that we did place on the field, they want to play. They want to have a spot in this Barcelona squad. There was even questions that did come up, and they were saying, why in the second half are we playing so much better compared to the first half? Isn't the first half the side where we did use our regular starters? Shouldn't they be performing much better? And I think that that is telling us so much, and I hope that Koeman does see this and is aware and understands that it is time. It is time to use these young players for the upcoming season. And so look, in the end of this second half, Coutinho did score, and funny enough, the players that Koeman did call for to step up and wants to have within this team was Dembele, Coutinho, and Antoine Griezmann. They have all scored, and I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see that these three players who have not really had a place within this Barcelona squad did score in tonight's match under Ronald Koeman's first game. And so I want to move on to the last section, and that is my overall feeling, right? I want to ask this very important question. Did Barcelona respond to the 4-2-3-1? And to be very honest, if we're talking about as a collective, Barcelona as a whole, combining the first half and the second half, I'm going to have to say that it wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad either. But what does get very interesting is this. I think that the youth within this Barcelona squad responded better to this 4-2-3-1. And if we're going to separate the regulars to the youth players, I would give the regulars a 7 out of 10 in terms of response, and I would give the youth players a 8.5 out of 10 in terms of the response to that 4-2-3-1 system. And I want to give one last critique, right? This is another question that I would love you guys to answer, right? Seeing how our number 9s did perform, right, in tonight's match. Again, we were playing a 4-2-3-1 with one on top. Seeing how Griezmann did not look as comfortable playing in that role, and seeing how Martin Braithwaite does not have the right quality to perform and be our best number 9 going forward. Should Barcelona invest in a number 9, a real true number 9, a player who has devoted himself to play that striker position? Yes, have we talked about Ansu Fati playing that number 9 position? We have, but should Barcelona invest in another true number 9? Because I really do think that that is what we were really missing throughout this whole match. We were in moments on the field where they did do great, but I was like, they could have done that a little bit better if they had that number 9. We could have created that chance into a goal. And knowing that Koeman is not going to be using Luis Suarez nor Arturo Vidal, who did not participate in this match, knowing that Koeman is not going to use them anymore, Barcelona is not going to be left with any true number 9. And so it is something to really think about. I was really thinking about that throughout the whole match, and let me know what you guys think. So that'll be it for today's Barcelona post-match review. I'm not really going to give the overall stats. This was more of a individual performance to see who performed the best, and let me tell you, we have gotten some answers in tonight's match. And our next game is going to be in 4 days on Wednesday, which will be Barcelona v Girona, and hopefully by that match we will see a more refined, a more stable starting 11. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you guys like this video. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. And again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.